Yediyurappa loyalist Basavaraj Bommai to be the next Karnataka Chief Minister, swearing in ceremony at 11 a.m. on Wednesday. He tells NDTV he never expected it. IMF downgrades India's growth forecast from 12.5% to 9.5% for the fiscal year 2021-22. Says that India's growth prospects are downgraded following severe second COVID wave. Another Assam cop dies a day after border clash. Number of dead is now 6. Assam Chief Minister tweets video says Mizoram cops are celebrating after killing Assam police personnel. Both Chief Ministers tweet Home Minister. No official response yet. Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee meets Prime Minister. It's the first meeting between the two after the bitter Bengal elections. She says she will be meeting Sonia Gandhi on Wednesday. Former CBI Special Director Rakesh Asthana appointed Commissioner of the Delhi Police. He had a controversial stint at the CBI, was removed in 2018 and later appointed as the Chief of BSF. We are tired but not. The coronavirus warns the government. Kerala and northeastern states are a worry with rising cases. Government says opening schools is a tightrope walk. Hello and welcome to NDTV 24/7. I'm Rohit Wellington. Let's begin with our top story. Basavaraj Bommai will be the new Chief Minister of Karnataka. The state BJP legislature party met on Tuesday evening and picked Yediyurappa loyalist and the current Home Minister to succeed Mr. Yediyurappa as Chief Minister. The swearing-in has been scheduled for 11 a.m. on Wednesday. Like Mr. Yediyurappa, Basavaraj Bommai is a leader of the politically powerful Lingayat community. The son of Janata Dal's S.R. Bommai, a former Chief Minister of Karnataka. Basavaraj Bommai joined the BJP from the Janata Dal in 2008. The 61-year-old told NDTV that he never expected this and had faith only in his hard work. Maya Sharma spoke with the new Chief Minister designate.
This is a situation just after the announcement of Basavaraj Bommai as the next Chief Minister of Karnataka, taking over from B.S. Yediyurappa, who resigned on Monday. It's a sea really of legislators here, the legislators who chose the Chief Minister after observers came from Delhi. But this is really what it looks like here. This is what it looks like here. Sir, for all times, the next Chief Minister of Karnataka, Mr. Basavaraj Bommai. Big smiles on the face. You're following in your father's footsteps. Big smiles on your face as Chief Minister of Karnataka.
It's a big responsibility in the given situations. I will strive to work for the poor, downtrodden, and as per the wish of our Honorable Prime Minister and our Honorable Home Minister Amit Shah ji and Nadda ji, under the guidance of our leader, our beloved leader, Sanmanya Shri Yediyurappa ji's guidance, I will strive to work. It will be a pro-people and poor people governance.
Did you know about this or was it a total shock for you? Did you know about this or was it a total shock?
No, it was really, I never expected it. But however, I had a belief in my hard work and it has paid.
It has paid off. So there we have, my goodness, okay, all right. There we have the new next Chief Minister of Karnataka, Basavaraj Bommai. His father was also Chief Minister. He says it's a big responsibility. He says he didn't expect this, but his name was announced at this meeting here. Basavaraj Bommai, the next Chief Minister of Karnataka, Lingayat, like his predecessor, B.S. Yediyurappa, and he will take over as Chief Minister of Karnataka. With J.M. Kumar, Maya Sharma in Bengaluru for NDTV.
The other big story, the International Monetary Fund has slashed India's growth projections for the fiscal year 2021-22 by 3 percentage points. The IMF has said that the downgrade is after the severe second COVID wave. Maria Malvi explains.
The International Monetary Fund has released their World Economic Outlook report today, as you just said, and which shows that the growth projection for India in the current fiscal year has been downgraded by 3 percentage points to 9.5 in the latest report. This is in light of the severe second wave of COVID that crippled the country. The IMF says that growth prospects in India have been downgraded following the severe second COVID wave during March to May and expected slow recovery in confidence from that setback. And what's more interesting is that of all the countries listed in the report, India has seen the largest drop in growth projections of 3 percentage points. In just April this year, the IMF had projected for growth of around 12.5% for India this year. This is now dropped to 9.5% in the latest one. That's a drop of 3 percentage points. As I mentioned earlier, this is the steepest downward revision for all the countries mentioned in the report. While some countries like the United Kingdom, Brazil, Mexico, USA have had their growth forecast revised up for the year, others like China, Japan and India has seen their growth forecast revised down. And India is at the bottom of that list. This means that as some countries have seen an upward revision and some have seen a downward revision, the global growth rate remains the same, even as India's growth rate has been revised down. The global growth rate projected for this year remains at 6%. The growth projections for the next fiscal year, some good news for India, has been revised up by 1.6 percentage points. But this might not be enough to make up for the loss that we see in the growth projections for this year. Again, just to repeat, India has seen the largest drop amongst all the countries listed in the report of 3 percentage points.
And here's what Geeta Gopinath, the chief economist at the IMF, said on the World Economic Outlook.
We just put out the update to the World Economic Outlook. Our growth projection for this year is unchanged from April at 6%. However, we have a big compositional change. We have an upgrade for advanced economies, which is being offset almost entirely by a downgrade for emerging markets and developing economies. I think the main sources of this divide are unequal access to vaccinations. Fiscal support remains quite considerable in many advanced economies, while it's being withdrawn in many developing economies. Inflation risks are an important concern for many countries in the world, but that's leading to higher interest rates in emerging markets and developing economies. The world really needs to come together to end this pandemic and get widespread vaccinations everywhere. And that will be essential to close this widening gap that we're seeing.
Yeah, the big story: a day after border clash between Assam and Mizoram, another Assam cop has succumbed to his injuries, that taking the number of dead now to 6. Tensions are high. Assam Chief Minister has tweeted a video saying Mizoram cops celebrated after killing Assam police personnel. Both Chief Ministers have tweeted the Home Minister, but there's no official response yet. A furious Assam Chief Minister tweeted this video, saying, after killing 5 Assam police personnel and injuring many, this is how Mizoram police and goons are celebrating. The shocking, unprecedented, fatal encounter, not an insurgency, but between 2 Indian states over a decades-old border dispute. Both state governments are political allies. But Assam's BJP Chief Minister, who rushed to ground zero, hit out at his Mizoram counterpart Zoramthanga, a BJP ally.
This is not a political issue. This is a long-standing border dispute. When Buddha's side Congress government was there, that point of time also that this dispute was there.
Assam accuses Mizoram of using machine guns and starting the battle, and Mizoram's ruling party blames Assam.
The act of aggression was started by the Assam police only. It is the Assam police only which went with a huge contingent of around 200 policemen with senior officers and they had every intention of provoking a fight out there.
In Mizoram, an unprecedented coming together of the ruling Mizo National Front, a BJP ally, and the Congress. But what led to this shocking incident? The dispute is over demarcation of state border. Both lay claim to a piece of land on the border between Assam's Kachar district and Mizoram's Kolasip district. Both sides accuse each other of encroachment. The dispute originates from two border notifications issued during British rule. Assam and Mizoram have disputes over two other border points.
This is the main national highway that links Silchar in Assam to Mizoram's capital Aizawl, a 180-kilometer drive up this hill. You can see here the central paramilitary force guarding this stretch of the disputed border. This is where the Monday clashes took place. On one side of the border, you have Assam's last village, Lailapur, and on other side, a few kilometers up the hill, you have Mizoram's first town, Vairangte. And now this stretch has become a bone of contention between the two states and a food for thoughts for the centre.
Chief Minister Mamata Sarma attended the final farewell for the 5 policemen. He announced a 3-day state mourning and ordered 3,000 commandos at the borders with Mizoram soon. The gun battle between the two states came just 2 days after Union Home Ministers meeting with all the Northeast Chief Ministers. The Union Home Ministry today stated in Parliament that the approach of the central government has consistently been that interstate disputes can be resolved only with the cooperation of the state governments concerned, and that the central government acts only as a facilitator for amicable settlement of the dispute in the spirit of mutual understanding. The gun battle led the opposition to attack the centre.
केंद्र सरकार और राज्य सरकारों की लापरवाही के कारण आज दोनों राज्यों के बीच में तनाव और हिंसा का वातावरण बन गया है। तो इंटेलिजेंस फेलियर है, कोऑर्डिनेशन है और ये सामूहिक रूप से व्यर्थता जो है उसके लिए गृह मंत्री जिम्मेवारी कबूल करें और अपने पद से इस्तीफा दें।
For now, an uneasy peace prevails at the state border, with the CRPF, a paramilitary force, taking over all disputed points for now. With Ratnadeep Chaudhary in Silchar and Himanshu Shekhar in Delhi, Rohit Wellington for NDTV. The big political story, Mamata Banerjee going national. She's in Delhi and met Prime Minister Modi on Tuesday. She will be meeting Congress's Sonia Gandhi on Wednesday. Mamata's meeting with Prime Minister Modi was the first after the acrimonious Bengal election campaign in which the two clashed frequently.
The most high-profile meeting of West Bengal Chief Minister's Delhi Yatra, a one-on-one with the Prime Minister. According to Ms. Banerjee, though the two leaders, fierce political rivals, talked mainly about COVID.
वो टोटली कार्टिसिक विजिट है, लेकिन कार्टिसिक विजिट का साथ-साथ में मैंने कोविड के बारे में थोड़ा चर्चा किया कि कोविड में हमारा जो वैक्सीन मिला है इसमें थोड़ा और ज़्यादा हमारा चाहिए, इसी के लिए एक दफे भेंट करने पड़ता ही है सब, ये हमारा कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन का मुताबिक एक प्रोटोकॉल होता है.
But the schedule of the rest of the 5-day visit appears to be clearly to bolster an effective challenge to Mr. Modi's government, as she met a string of opposition leaders like Kamal Nath and Anand Sharma at her nephew Abhishek Banerjee's residence. When asked if she is positioning herself as the leader of the opposition front, this was her response.
No, country will lead. We are the followers.
The Congress leaders claim the final say on the tie-up with the Trinamool is up to Sonia Gandhi, also on Ms. Banerjee's meeting schedule.
जो भी कोई निर्णय होते हैं, मैं कांग्रेस पार्टी का सदस्य हूं, वो श्रीमती सोनिया गांधी हमारी नेता है, कांग्रेस पार्टी की प्रेसिडेंट है, वही वो बातचीत करेंगी मेरे ख्याल से ममता जी, और वो कल मिल रहे हैं.
Taking a dig at Ms. Banerjee's Delhi visit, the West Bengal BJP president called it a political tourism.
2019 में उन्होंने किया था, सारे विपक्ष के नेता को कलकत्ता बुला के ब्रिगेड में सभा भी किया था, लेकिन नतीजा क्या निकला? मोदी जी 282 से 303 हो गए, कई पार्टी का खत्म हो गया, प्रतिनिधि नहीं है लोकसभा में, उनकी भी 12 सीट कम हो गई है, और इसीलिए अगले चुनाव और भी खतरनाक होगा उनके लिए.
Mamata Banerjee was given a clarion call for the opposition parties to get united to defeat BJP in the 2024 general elections. Is all scheduled to meet Congress President Sonia Gandhi, NCP Chief Sharad Pawar, Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal and SP Chief Akhilesh Yadav in the next 2 days. With camera person Ashok Mahale and Rajiv Ranjan, this is Arvind Gunasekar for NDTV.
Now, the other big story, Rakesh Asthana, the former CBI officer, has been appointed the Commissioner of the Delhi Police. Mr. Asthana had a controversial tenure in the CBI. He was removed from the agency in 2018 and later made the Chief of the Border Security Force, a post that he currently holds. Let's go across to Arvind Gunasekar for more on this. Arvind, what more details can you share with us?
Rohit, a former CBI Special Director and 1984 batch IPS officer from Gujarat cadre, Rakesh Asthana, who is currently serving as the Director General of BSF, Border Security Force, has been appointed as the next Commissioner of Police for New Delhi. Though he is Gujarat cadre IPS officer, the Home Ministry has ordered for the inter-cadre deputation from Gujarat cadre to AGMUT cadre, and the Home Ministry in its order has also given 1 year extension in service for Rakesh Asthana. Rakesh Asthana was scheduled to retire on July 31st after superannuating, but now with the Ministry of Home Affairs giving an 1 year extension in service, so he'll be functioning as the Commissioner of Delhi for next 1 year. That's the appointment order that has been issued by the Delhi Police. Though this is not the first time the inter-cadre deputed officer is being appointed as the Commissioner of Delhi, but this is the first time an inter-cadre deputed officer is being given a 1 year extension and then being appointed as the Commissioner of Delhi. Rohit?
All right, Arvind, we leave it there. Thanks very much for joining us with those details. Let's shift focus now to COVID. We are tired, but coronavirus is not. That's the government's warning ahead of the festive season. The centre has urged people to avoid mass gathering in large-scale festivities. On reopening of schools, the government said it's a tightrope walk.
A rush of visitors at an Ujjain temple, compounded by visiting VIPs. This mockery of COVID precautions is exactly what the centres and other health experts are desperately warning against.
ट्रैवल फालतू में नहीं करने की ज़रूरत, थोड़े दिन रुक सकते हैं, भीड़ नहीं करने की ज़रूरत, मास गैदरिंग का कोई अभी टाइम नहीं है, लार्ज स्केल फेस्टिविटीज़ का अभी कोई टाइम नहीं है.
The centre today pointed out that cases have begun rising in 22 districts in Kerala and states in the northeast.
We may be tired, but virus is perhaps not tired. तो ये एक alert है हमारे लिए. Again, it shows that virus replication is going on. Chains of transmission are going on. Fact is that when there is so much of virus replication, there are problems, variants can emerge.
Worryingly, the reproduction number, which indicates the spread of COVID infections, has risen sharply. For all India, it's 0.99 today compared to 0.84 just 20 days ago. Above 1 indicates that cases are spreading, and Kerala's R number has remained above this level. Delhi's R number has seen the steepest increase above big states, although it's a shade below the danger mark of 1. In comparison, Maharashtra's R number has seen a dip. On reopening schools, the government said it's up to the states, but admitted it's a tough call.
But as you would appreciate, it is tightrope walking. It is not easy to, to expose. It's not an easy decision.
The government said that private sector vaccine centres, which have only administered 7% of all vaccines despite procuring 25% of the supply, need more time to become efficient.
At this crucial juncture, when cases are again rising in certain areas and COVID restrictions are being eased, vaccination will be key. Waiting at this point for the private players to become more efficient may be a gamble. With Xavier Thomas, Meher Pandey for NDTV.
Welcome back. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken arrived in India on Tuesday on a 2-day visit. On Wednesday, Blinken will hold extensive talks with External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar and will also meet National Security Advisor Ajit Doval. He is also scheduled to call on Prime Minister Modi before leaving for Kuwait. The US has said that Blinken and Jaishankar will discuss a wide range of issues, including continued cooperation on COVID response efforts, Indo-Pacific engagement, shared regional security interests, shared democratic values, and addressing the climate crisis. Well, that's it on this bulletin from the entire team. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.